I'm Joseph Huberman, the VP of Club Services, and I'm welcoming all of you to the OUSA's monthly forum. I'm going to host this forum on simple local event software. I'll be presenting SI-Droid, Blake Matthews will present OR, and Michael Avery will present MeOS. During the presentation, you can put questions into the chat. After each presentation, we'll have time for you to ask questions. So if you want to speak, please raise your hand and keep your microphone off until you're called on. This program is being recorded, so if you don't want to be recorded, please turn off your camera and mic, or you could leave the meeting. Some of the presentations have a good bit of detail, so you should change the following settings in Meet so you can see as much detail as possible. If you click the three dots at the bottom and select Layout and change it to Spotlight, and then select the three dots again, and then select Full Screen. And then you can also hide messages unless you need them. And that'll give you the most detail. So there's a bunch of people still joining, so we'll give them another minute or so. It's working. Okay, well, the people logging in has slowed down, so I'll get started. The first one is SI-Droid. It's designed for local events where you only keep track of the results of courses. Its outstanding feature is simplicity. Simple to install, simple to learn, simple to correct any problem with courses or competitors, simple to display and export results, and simple to get statistics. All you need is an Android phone or tablet, the SI download box with an on-the-go cable, and a Bluetooth printer. SI-Droid is designed so it's as easy to use as possible. First, you load it on your Android tablet or phone from Google Play Store. The big cost is $6. To prepare for the event, open SI-Droid on your tablet and click the three dots and choose Manage DB, and then Erase Event Data, and that'll clear out the last event. Click the three dots again and choose Settings. Enter the event name and date, and now you're ready to hustle off to the event. Uh-oh, the registrar has already sent some people out on the course. Uh-oh, wait a minute, I missed the slide. The registrar has already sent some people out on the course, and the first one is coming in now. Plug in the download box and let the first runner download their card. Okay, so I did miss something here. All right. So you have to click the three dots again and choose Settings. Enter the event name and date. And now you're ready to go to the event. Uh-oh, the registrar has already sent some people out on the course. And the first one is coming in now. Plug in the download box and let the first runner download their card. After the runner downloads their card into the empty event, you can use that card to define a course. Click three dots and choose Create a New Course from Card. You get this screen and can give it a name. You turn on the Bluetooth printer to print their results. It was previously connected, so now it connects automatically. Everything takes place on these three tabs: Courses, Readout, and Results. You can switch back and forth to add or modify courses, check the readout, fix errors, or view the results. Switching to the Results tab, you can display the results on the tablet or broadcast them on a local network. Oops, one of the controls on the course is wrong. Must have been that first card you downloaded. Switch to the Courses tab where you can easily modify the course. Or on this tab, you could enter a new course by hand. You can also specify a score course and define the points for each control. Oops, again, one of the competitor's controls didn't record. Select that runner from the Readout or the Results tab. There you can edit the person's punches, start and finish, as well as their name, club, or course. If you aren't being called at the last minute and are getting ready to host an event, you can import all the courses from your course design software into SI-Droid using an IOF XML file. And you can import competitors using a CSV file. That way, when an SI card is downloaded, the competitor and course will pop up. Note here that under Mike 2 is Mike, and his result is DNS did not start. He downloaded an empty card so that we can use that feature to keep track as who is out. When someone downloads a cleared stick, it shows the person as did not start. And when they return from their course and download, they have a number 2 designation. Unfortunately, you have to manually delete the DNS record that you don't want. Well, now it's time to post the results on the club website. You can export the HTML directly into an email, either the simple results or the splits. Here's what the HTML format for simple results looks like. And here's the one for. Finally, you can view the event statistics. Among other things, it gives you the number of unique starts for reporting to OUSA. Well, that about covers the SI-Droid features. The BOK website has detailed instructions for setting up the complete system. I'll put the link in the chat. Okay, open for any questions.
Yeah, maybe I'll just jump in. So what's the first thing that comes to mind for you that you can't do with SI-Droid? Like multi-day events you can't do?
It doesn't do, you would use a separate event for each day, and it would not put events together in order to calculate combined times. And it doesn't do classes very easily. There's a workaround if you want to use classes by making each class a separate course. Jerry.
Yes, do you have to buy a USB hub or something to interface with the download station to the Android tablet?
You need an on-the-go cable, and that'll take the USB-A to a USB-C.
Okay.
And it's not very expensive. I think it's like less than $20.
Thanks.
Actually, the tablet will either have typically a micro USB or a USB-C. We used to have micro USB, and that's called an OTG cable. I think they still call it that for USB-C, but the USB-C interface is bidirectional. What the OTG cable does is let you plug in a micro USB cable into the tablet. On the other end of it is a USB-A female, and that's what you plug the download box into, a USB download box. I think the cables are somewhere around $10 or less. They're pretty cheap. I think I bought 2 of them at a time. There's some more information on what we actually have in the article on our website. If you just search for Backwards Orienteering Club, find our website. And down in the right-hand list is a list of links. And somewhere down there, a good way down the list is using SI-Droid event software or a title, something like that.
Yeah, and I've got the link in the messages right now.
Yeah, and I wrote the article, and I'm in the process of updating it for our newer equipment. So if anyone has any questions or comments, feel free to contact me. I'm Ian Shields with Backwards Orienteering Club. If you don't know me, contact me through Joseph.
Okay, are there any other questions? Anyone want to make a question or comment? Okay, Walter.
Yeah, if I understand that right, so you don't have to preload participants. You basically can just create it on the fly.
Yes, you can create everything on the fly.
Okay.
You can, but if you've already designed courses with course design software, it's a lot easier to just download the course information as an AOF XML file.
Yes, I understand, but then the participants, that's really my question. If we don't have to enter them, because our registration system we have right now is somewhat cumbersome. So I think it's easy if we don't have to download or enter them ahead of time.
Right. When someone downloads, you don't have to download them in advance. You can just wait until they come in which case you'll need to keep track of people using the old paper and pencil method. But when they come in, they'll click whatever's on their card will show up as their name. So what we like to do is anyone that owns a card, we like to personalize their cards so that it'll pop up with their name on it. The other thing you can do is if you have regulars that come at it that frequently, that you can save their numbers and create the CSV file. And so their numbers at least will show up correctly, but they're not entered into the meet until they actually punch their card.
Right, but then a rental finger stick would not show up as anything. You would have to enter the data or the name.
That's correct. It
Really?
would say, yeah, you would. We keep the name of our rental sticks are called BOK rentals. So
Yeah,
it pops right up.
the stick number
and then
shows
you can
up.
remember to take the card from them. Jerry, you have a question?
Yes, in our club, we like to keep track of who's on the course so we make sure we don't have a search and rescue event. So is there an easy way to do registration through the application, even
No.
with the rental? Oh, so there isn't?
No.
Okay. So we still have to manually keep track who's gone out on a course and make sure they've come back.
Well, there is a way of doing it. There's the workaround for that. And what I said was, after they clear their stick at registration, you have them clear their stick and then download. And then they will show up as did not start. And you have the choice to either leave them in no course or put them in a course that you want, the course that they're going to be in. And then when they come back, they download and it has a number 2 next to their name. And so you can either just say, okay, I don't have to worry about them, or you can go in and delete the original card.
Okay, so it sounds like there is kind of a way to do it then. Good,
Yeah,
great.
yeah. But it really is, that's kind of a hassle, especially when there's a lot of people around. It's easier just to have a list and check people in and check people out. Blake.
From this discussion, I take it there's no way to download the punches from the start station to get the same information, who's already out on the course, when they left, that kind of thing?
That's correct.
Okay.
All right. Is that it? So, Blake, I guess it's your turn.
Then I'm unmuting myself again. All right, I'm taking over the presentation from you. And hopefully you guys can see my slide deck now.
Looks good.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to tell you about the OR software or OR software from Orienteering Ireland. Flo and SOAR have been using this to time all our events for about the last 9 years, ever since we've been using SI timing. So these are the topics I'm going to quickly run through. What is OR? How do you get it installed? A little peek at the user interface to it, which in my opinion is kind of the strong suit of this software. How to do basic event setup, how to preload runner entries if you have a preliminary registration, how to do manual runner entry, how to connect to SI, how to print splits tickets, and then onboard and live to the web results. So first of all, what is OR? It is, they're explicit that it is results software, not event management, quote unquote. It doesn't have all of the bells and whistles of a full event management system. It's kind of intended for keep it simple, stupid sort of events, smaller, relatively straightforward. It does have some nice features to it, but it's kind of intended for the smaller and simpler events. It's written in Java. The resources for it are hosted on the Orienteering Ireland website, www.orienteering.ie. Martin Flynn is the developer over there. I've had quite a few conversations with him. It's got a simple, intuitive spreadsheet-like everything on one screen GUI, which is kind of nice. I think it's very intuitive and easy to ramp up on. It's got lots of built-in features. It's intended for use with Sport Ident, and it's built for kind of the smaller events, hundreds of runners, not thousands, and so forth. Here's a quick preview of what the everything on one screen GUI interface looks like, and I'll dissect this for you in just a minute. So first, how do you get the software? I'm going to put a couple of links on this page, which I've already posted into the chat for our meeting here, so you can get them there. If you go to orienteering.ie or home, this is where the software lives, and it has a few tabs up there at the top. You're basically looking at the downloads page here, and there's basically three things you need if you want to run OR on your laptop. You need the OR software itself. You need the Java runtime environment if you don't have it already, because it's written in Java. And then, of course, if you want to use it with Sport Ident, you need the Sport Ident driver that allows the laptop to talk to the SI stations. So number one, it's just a simple click. The launch OR link right here is all you need. It will download the software and install it to the laptop on which you do it. The Java also has a download link that takes you to the Java website to get the JRE if you don't already have it. A lot of Windows machines already do, but if you don't, it's right there. Now, the Sport Ident Master has a download link right here, but I think they've kind of reorganized their page since this was published. This is where the driver actually lives now. So if you want to find the USB driver, this is where I would go. And again, both of these two highlighted links are in the chat, but if you want, this is your hint to screenshot this screen right here to get all of that information in a screenshot for yourself. All right, when you get the software installed, there's one little thing you have to do. Java is very persnickety about security, and so you have to tell it OR is not malware. And you do that by configuring Java. So you just type configure Java into your Windows search bar at the bottom of the screen, click on the configure Java icon. In the window that pops up, you're going to go to the security tab. And then at the bottom, you'll edit site list to put the Orienteering Ireland website two ways, with the www and without it, into the exception site list. This just tells Java that you're understanding that this is coming, where this is coming from. You understand that it's not malware, so it won't complain about it when you launch it. All right, here's that user interface again, and now we're going to go over the parts of it. You got your menus up here at the top. Right underneath it is your SI COM port panel. That's where you connect to your SI station. Right here is where you add a new runner manually. Anything you put in there goes into your entries list down here, which has this nice spreadsheet view to it. It works like a spreadsheet in that you can quickly sort it any way you want just by clicking on any of these headers. In fact, you can sort A within B within C by clicking on things in order if you so choose. So all that is right out of the box functionality there for you. At the bottom, you've got a little set of color-coded runner totals. Yellow is not started, red is started, not yet finished, green is finished okay, purple finished but DNF. Then you have your SI stick readout panel up here at the top right. Any sticks you download, the information that it downloads from the stick will turn up there. Right underneath it is your statistics window. This will give you information about each course and how many have started, finished, DNF'd on that course. And then at the very bottom, it'll give you a list of the runners that are still out. That, of course, is based on runners that have started from your entries screen over here. And you can also back that up by downloading data from the start box after you've kind of closed the start, after you're not going to release any more runners. You can download data from the start box, and that'll populate in here as well. So basic event setup. If you want to start a new competition, you just go to File, New Competition. That'll kick up this window that has 3 tabs on it with simple stuff to enter. You give the competition a name. You decide whether you want to calculate results by class or course. You can put in a 0 time, which is the time people get if they don't punch the start station. The second tab is your splits printout. If you want to print splits, then you can set up a printer, either Bluetooth or attached to the laptop, and tell it which printer you want to use. And then finally, you got the live results tab. You can check this activate right here, give the page a name that'll be unique to your club. And then right here, it'll tell you the URL where the results will be uploaded. And I'm going to come back to that at the end. For courses and classes, you can enter things manually if you want. It has that functionality, but of course, nobody does. You design the courses in OCAD or Purple Pen. You go to File, Import from OCAD or Purple Pen. It tells you a couple of things that it allows you to do. It does allow you to import a map if you want to, or has the ability to auto-create a route gadget event based on the map. We don't use that functionality because we use LiveLox, so I just skip past this step with Next. And then the second step is you're importing your courses. And it tells you right here in this panel exactly what you need. It's an XML export. I'm sure it's the same for all other event software. You can get that XML from either OCAD or Purple Pen. And you click on Import, tell it where that file is, and it sucks it all into OR and populates the courses and the controls from that. For preloading runner entries, if you have a spreadsheet where people are typing in pre-registered participants, name, club, gender, what level they're going to do, their stick number, and so forth, that can be turned with a macro into a CSV file that OR wants for its input. And then inside the software, you can go to Tools, Start List, Import, and suck all that in, and it will appear automatically in that entries panel in the lower left of the OR window. I'm kind of glossing over some details there, but I'm sure if you've done events this way before, you're familiar with this process. Manual runner entry, straightforward as a sledgehammer. You saw the little box at the top left of the interface window for entering runners manually. You just put in the stick number, the name, class, course, club, click OK. It's as simple as that. Those runners will appear in your entries panel. To connect to your SI equipment, you must have the SportIdent USB driver installed. That was item 3 on my list on the page, the screenshot page for downloading the software. You're going to plug in your SI readout station. And then the first time you do this with a particular laptop, you need to know what COM port the SI station went to. So you check your device manager, look under ports, and find the SportIdent USB device. In this case, it's in COM 4 that it's connected to. And then inside OR, you simply go to your COM port panel at the very top left, pick that COM port out of the list. Initially, it will say, okay, I'm connecting. And then after a second or two, it'll say, okay, I got it, I'm open. And at that point, you're ready to read SI cards. Printing splits tickets. This is the printer that we use for flow and SOAR events. It's the Epson TM T20 thermal printer. I imagine many of you are familiar with this. The thing's a workhorse. It's bulletproof. I'm sure I printed 30,000 splits tickets from this printer, and it's still going strong. It just will not die. It's terrific. Highly recommend it. This is what an OR splits ticket looks like. This is a sample. You got your runner data at the top, SI number, club, the times. Here's all your splits times, and it gives a little blurb at the bottom about what position they're in at the time they punch in. That, of course, is subject to change as more people come in. And then here's one that's a DNF showing the missing punches. It shows you which ones they missed. Okay, now the fun part, the results display. OR has both an onboard display and the web results display. So the onboard one is simply you just go to Tools, Results screen. It kicks up a display like this in a separate window, which you then just drag to your second monitor, maximize it, turn it towards your participants, and forget about it. It automatically cycles. It'll automatically shuffle the results from screen to screen. When it runs out of room on one screen, it'll start shuffling them. You don't have to think about it whatsoever. It just does that. And then this updates, of course, instantly as runners punch in because it's connected directly to the SI laptop. But the really cool one is the web results, which gives everyone at the event the ability to monitor results near real time with any internet connected device. And in that screenshot I gave you earlier with the setup of a competition, that third tab for live results, this is the URL that it created based on the name that you gave it when you told the event setup that you wanted live results. You just have them send them to that particular URL, and this is what you get. There's a little section up here at the top that lets them go to a particular class if they want to. If they want to look at the orange mail class, whatever, it'll zero in on that. It also has direct links to Splits browser. As the results come in, they can look at that in real time. There's also a basic version, which is a static HTML page. This one right here is a dynamic HTML page. You can see here it's a PHP program that runs it. And just like the onboard results, this will paginate for you based on your screen size. So people can let it flip through the results if it won't all fit on one page. But if they want everything on one page and they want to scroll around in it, that basic version creates a static HTML page with all the results on it that they can go to as well. The really cool thing about that online results display is that it's a browser window. So it responds to control mouse wheel for easy zooming in and zooming out, which means that early on in the event or at a small event when you only have a few results to display, you can zoom in and the text gets bigger. And then as more people pile in, you can slowly zoom out, making the text smaller, keeping everything on one screen so it doesn't paginate, which people really like. If you happen to have a great big display, as we do, I can fit hundreds and hundreds of results on a single screen that way. I just have to kind of cast an eye at it every once in a while and zoom in and out as needed in order for things to stay on one screen. And then this is the way I recommend you do it. So in that edit competition, the live results, you're just going to check activate. You give it a name that's unique, and it'll give you the URL for it. Now, what I recommend is that you pick a standard results name for all of your club's events, which leads to a single URL that stays the same event after event after event. And then what you can do is generate a QR code with your club logo in it for that standard live results web page, print a few copies, laminate them, and just post them around the staging area, at the results table, over where people are hanging out looking at the results, all of that. And then anyone with their phone can scan that, and they're just like that. They've got live results on their device. This is actually a live QR code. If you have your phone handy, you can scan this QR code right now, and you will see on your phone exactly what your participants will see when they are looking at results. Because that dynamic web page is it's PHP based and it adjusts automatically to your screen size, you can have your phone and turn it broadside if you want. It'll resize and reformat. You can scroll around on it with your finger. You can zoom in and out. You have full control over it. It's the absolute best way I know of to get the results out. People love it. And it updates within about 2 minutes of somebody punching in. Or doesn't upload instantly with every result. It kind of waits for a few to come in and then sends them up. So usually about every couple of minutes, results will appear up there on the live page once they punch in. And that's it. So I'm ready to open it up for questions.
Matt, you have a question?
This is Jess Greer. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
Blake, what what's the difference between an event and a results management software? I'm not sure I followed when you said it's not an event management software.
I might not be the best person to answer that because I've never used anything but OR for results. It does have the ability to do multi-day events, so I know that's a capability it has, but I'm told that there are capabilities that you would use for a more advanced event, like maybe if you want to print the bibs with the runner numbers on them. There are other packages that have those kind of more full-featured selections that you can make. OR doesn't do all of those things, but you can do a lot with it. You can do multi-day events. You can do Score-O. There's a wide variety of capabilities it has. You can delete controls if there's a problem with a control. Joe mentioned that with SI-Droid. That's a capability it has. You can also download data from the start box. So when you're done releasing people for the day, you can suck all the data out of the start box and you know when everybody left, and that keeps you up to date on who to watch for, how many people are still out, that sort of thing. So it has a lot of cool capabilities, just not everything.
Right. But you said at the start, you said specifically this is not event management. When you said that, what were you thinking that it does not do that events management would do? That's what I guess I'm asking.
I don't really know. And the fact that it says I'm results management, not event management, that's what OR says on their website. So I repeated it like a good little presenter here, but I don't actually know what they're referring to other than the bib thing. I know I've seen other event management softwares that have that functionality for handling the ancillary jobs associated with a large event or a multi-day event.
Yeah.
And OR isn't really designed for that.
Ian, you're next.
Yeah, I just wanted to know if your Epson printer is battery powered or if you need mains power for it.
That one does need to be plugged in. We actually carry a little battery inverter with us for running our event laptops, and I carry a 50-inch TV that we use for displaying results. So I use that battery inverter to power everything, the TV, the laptops, the printer, all of that.
Jerry, you're next.
Yeah, since this is written in Java, do you know of anybody that's run it on Mac OS or Linux?
I do not. I've not ever tried to run it on Linux. I don't have a Mac. It's always been on Windows laptops for us. That would be a Martin Flynn question.
Are there any other questions for Blake?
Blake, you said you had the links in the chat. I don't see them.
Yeah, they should be at the very tippy top of the chat. I posted them while we were kind of warming up for the event. The chat didn't get cleared when the recording started, did it?
Is it?
I think you can only see the chat, the part that's happened since you individually joined. So maybe repost.
Okay, I'll repost it.
Are there any other questions for Blake? Michael Avery, you're ready.
Okay, chat's updated.
Okay. Good evening. My name's Mike Avery, and I'm with Northeastern Ohio Orienteering Club, and I am going to be talking about MeOS tonight. We've been using MeOS since 2021, early 2021, have about 40 or 45 events worth of experience on it. As you can see, MeOS is an acronym, a much easier orienteering system, which makes it right in line with the topic of tonight's forum. MeOS has been around since 2007. It's a full-featured orienteering event administration software. So I think this would put this in the class of an event management software. I know we don't use it, but it has a speakers module for folks that are going to be broadcasting on radio and television. It's got an economies module, which allows you to run invoicing. So it's got a little bit more of the features that are on an event management software package, but you don't need to use those things. And it fits real well with us for our local events. It's noted there it's free to download from the internet for everybody. It's open source, written mostly in C++ and C. So if you have anyone in your club that's got some programming skills, you're able to get the program source code and customize it to what you might need. It runs only on Windows. Version 7 to 11 are supported. It can run on a Mac or Linux, but you have to be running it under a virtual Windows machine. So what I'm going to do tonight is go through a complete setup from scratch of a classic O event and take that through getting it set up prior to the event, and what you'll do on the day of the event. Then I'll load up some recently completed events to show some things in the area of results and that kind of thing. And I've also got a Scoro event that I'll bring in and highlight the differences between a linear. And what we're going to be going through in the steps of getting MeOS set up is a workflow that you see at the top. It's basically your competition details, control details, course details, class details, and then finally competitor details in that order. Some of those steps will be kind of combined in the control course because of the use of the IOF XML file. And down below is the approach that we use. So we'll do manual entry of the basic information about the event, then we'll upload course details from the IOF XML file from Purple Pen. And then we have a database that we feed from our website with pre-registrations. We pull that information into Excel, and I'll show a rather unique feature in MeOS that allows us to take data in that format and just basically copy and paste it right into the program. So with that, I'll move over to the program. And so this is a screen that you'd get when you first open up. Oh, sorry, I'm one step in. This would be your opening screen when you first open up, and you have three basic choices here as far as getting started. If you have an event that's already been run and you want to work with it, you select that from the drop down. That's arranged in chronological order from your most recent event at the top and downward to events in the past. The other things you can do is you can import a competition file. If someone has set the program up or set the event up on their home computer and you're going to be running it at the event on a different laptop, you could load
the competition file in that manner, or you can start a new competition from scratch, which is what we're going to do here. So not very much information down there, so you give the competition a name. The date you're going to run, say we run it this Saturday, so I'll make it 22nd. And then what's the first possible start time? So we'll say 10 o'clock. And then at this point, I'm going to say no entries. This allows us to pick some features. My suggestion, and what I always do, is just pick all features. And then that brings you to the tab we were at before. So starting from scratch, the first thing we're going to do is get the course details loaded in. Browse to where you have it on your laptop. Let's see. And then I'm going to tick this box here to we'll create a class for each of the courses, because that's how we run our events. We're basically 5 or 6 courses per event, and they're always white, yellow, green, orange, red, and so classes will be the same as the course name. And just click import. Gives you confirmation that it's been imported. You're back to this screen, and there's, in terms of workflow, there's nothing to do here, but controls are shown on this tab. You pick one, you can see the details about it. If you have to make any entries or edits, you can do that here. Same thing with the courses. The courses will show what's been loaded up on the file. If you pick up any of the courses, it will list the controls in their sequenced order. Any details about the course that was included in the file will be shown here. And that's everything there. And then over in classes, since I clicked that tick box, there was a class created that corresponds to each of the courses. The only thing that I do on this particular screen for the classes is to allow quick entry, which will help later during the registration of walk-ups. So once that's done, we're basically ready to load the competitors. And so here's the feature that I mentioned. All of these data tabs have a table mode, which shows the information that's been displayed graphically in a table, like a spreadsheet. And so with each of these tables, there's a table toolbar that you can drag around and put where you want on the screen, and it allows you to interact with the table. And so the first thing to do is I pick the column selection tool, and this is a list of all the columns that are in the table. I'm going to pare it down to just what I need to load up for the event, which is name, class, club, and card. Click OK. It's the same table that we just showed, only those 4 columns selected. Now I'm going to go over to an Excel file. I mentioned that we use a pre-registration off of our website, and the data is dumped into a database on our server. This Excel file is set up to pull the data from that server per event. And then I have a tab over here that pulls the name, the class, the club, and the card number off of that tab that I showed previously. And so all you need to do here is just select the records that you want to load in, copy it to the clipboard, go back to MeOS, just click anywhere in the table, and then either use Control V or you can use that paste tool in the toolbar. It asks you, do you want to paste these into the table? Click yes, and there's your event setup. If I scroll back up and go back to form mode, so all the participants are loaded. You can see their courses here on the right, details, their card number, what class they're in, and whatnot here. So at this point, you could consider yourself complete in terms of a setup for pre-registered competitors. But one thing that I like to do is if you go to the list tab, which I'll come back to later, but on the list tab, there's a run competition check, which is good to do. And it gives you basic mistakes that you want to catch before you actually get started in the event. So you can see here, runners without start time, that's not a problem because we don't pre-assign starts for our local events. Runner without card is not an issue because we have several that are asking for a rental card. And then here's one that occasionally occurs. There could be some SI duplicates, and if that shows up here, then you just go back to the competitors tab and fix them. Okay, so having everything all set up, then you come back here and typically save it. If you're going to take this laptop to the event, or you could save it as a file, which you could then save to a folder on the computer or save it to a thumb drive, depending on how you're going to get it to whoever needs it at the event. Now say it's day of the event, you're at the venue, getting set up, and there's the first things you're going to do is you need to take care of registering any walk-ups. And on the day of event, probably 90% of your time will be spent on the Sport Ident tab. And I've got a readout unit connected already, and you can see that up here. It's on COM5. As long as it shows okay, you're good to go. If you have any problems with it, very infrequently you can disconnect and connect back up again. There's three things that you're primarily going to do here with this with these functions. The first is going to be to go into quick entry mode. So this would be how you would log in and register walk up. So they would you get the card that you're going to assign to them. You simply put it into the readout station. Card number comes up. You type in their name. And then here, pick what course that they're going to run. Click OK. And then if you go back over to the runners tab, so they're entered here. Next thing that you might need to do is assign rental cards. So that would be on this setting. Again, just punch the stick into the readout unit and then start typing. And as soon as it comes up with the runner that doesn't have an assigned card, as you're typing, it will take that. And so this is assigned card 7002255 to Dan Freeman. If you need to change it, you can click here, but that shows that that card's been tied to Dan. It's possible if you want, you can click this hide, and what that'll do, I'll show you here in a second when I go back and do the card readout. That's function is readout radio, and typically you'll want to have this interactive readout for a small event. So that just means you're going to take care of any mistakes right here at this computer. If this is not checked and a mistake comes up, you won't be able to do anything about it because it assumes that you've got, as a bigger event, you'd be taking care of any mistakes or questions at another computer. You want to print splits automatically, you'd have that ticked. And then if you have in your club cases where runners are allowed to do multiple courses, if you click this here, they can keep their same card, and subsequent downloads will just create another record for them. So I have, let's see. So the runner comes up, and that was Dan's card. So this is the cue you get to make sure that you get the card back. Also, it's color coded. So as it turns out, this only stick I had here, which had punches from a different event in it. That's why all the miss punches that you see here, but they'll show up as pink if there's a problem with the run. Okay, so I'm going to close this event that I've been setting up now and open up an event that's recently been completed. Not that one. This has the same competitors and whatnot that we just loaded up. Okay, so this is the competitors tab. If you pick any person that's actually ran, you'll see that their punches have populated here on the left-hand side of this this readout unit. It gives the start time, finish time. One of the features you can, if you have time punishments, you can enter that here and show status as well. Primarily, I wanted to show you the lists here, and in a small event, you're going to be mostly just dealing with the results on this tab. So this would be a typical result for the individual. This is a standard result that comes out of the box with the program. Pretty typical. Number of things you can do. You can print the results to a printer if you've got one on site, create a web document, HTML, create a PDF. You can copy it to a clipboard if you want to take the results and paste them into Excel or Sheets. You can also put the results in a new window and you could do that, for instance, if you wanted to toggle back and forth between MeOS and results without having to jump around through these tabs. The other thing you can do with the separate window is under appearance, you have the ability to go in and this is going to flip the page by page. And that was, I think, 8,000 milliseconds, so it should be an 8-second time on the page flip. So if you have a monitor or a projector, you could take that second window and drag it across to the other monitor and keep working in MeOS. You can also write your own custom lists. We did one here just recently. This is the same data set, but we wanted to get rid of the missed punch designation and show, instead of missed punch, how many controls the competitor punched.
Okay.
And so this particular list then is ranked, runners are ranked in their course by the number of controls first, and then their time.
Mike, we are about out of time, so I wanted to open it up if anyone has any questions specifically for you.
Okay.
So are there any other questions for anyone? Blake, I had a question for you. In the stick readout, when someone punches in, do you make a on-the-spot change to something? Like if they didn't punch the finish or the start or something?
Sure, you can. It will, when they punch in, it shows up in the readout what happened, what they're missing, if anything, the status of their course, what have you. And then in that entries table that's on the main screen, it'll highlight that row in green so it's easy to find them. And then you can either double click on that row or right click and edit, and you have full control over things that you might want to do if they got a missed punch and you have reason to believe they actually punched that control or were actually there. Like if you use live locks and you can have an independent check that they were actually at the control, yes, you can add that punch in and it will recalculate their results and repost them.
And then I had a second question. When you said it had internet connectivity, does that require having an actual internet connection, or can it work on a local network?
Well, it does require, if you want the internet published results to be able to get out so everybody with their phone can get it, then you must have internet connectivity for that information to get out. I do not think there's a way to do that locally. Like if you project a Wi-Fi field and people connect to it, is that what you're?
Yeah, that's what I was getting at.
Yeah, I don't think there's I've never actually tried that, but generally speaking, I don't let everyone at the event into the Wi-Fi that I use to run our events, because we have events with hundreds of people and there's very limited bandwidth. So I don't usually permit that. So I've never tested that, but I don't think you can do that. I think the URL is for, a web page, right?
Sure.
And they have to be able to get to the web, and you have to be able to get to the web in order for the results to get out and get back to them.
Okay, Lone Star, you have a question? Lone Star, your name is only Lone Star. And you're not muted. But we don't hear you. Okay, well, maybe not. Okay, are there any other questions? So we are at about 9:30. I think that Michael, you had some more stuff you were going to discuss that you could do after the official close.
Sure.
Okay. So I think that the recording will stop now.